Four straight losses for the Chicago Cubs. Another one-run loss yesterday, their 19th of the season, which of course leads MLB. We're going to talk about that. Shota Imanaga on the mound tonight with a chance to rebound from his bad outing last time out. Can he get the Cubs back in the win column? That and more on this edition of the Cubs Baseball Channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Jump in that comment section. Let us know how you're feeling about this team as we recap, unfortunately, yet another Cubs loss. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on the Cubs Baseball Channel. My name is Anthony Pasquale on Twitter at @Ant_Pasquale3. Follow me on there. I was very active last night during the Cubs loss. Another frustrating game to just add to the pile of frustrating games that this team continues to play. It's a lifeless brand of baseball, and something needs to change soon, but it just seems like nothing ever is going to work out for this team. And we'll get into a lot of it, but let's start right here with the bad news. The Cubs lose another one, 4-3 to the San Francisco Giants. Right now, the Cubs are a team that you would love to see on your schedule, right? The Cubs, one of the worst teams in baseball, probably the worst team in baseball over the last month. And you look at this team, the Giants had lost 5 straight. Nothing was going right for them. They get a series against the Cubs. They rattle off 3 straight wins and in all close games. And they're right back in the swing of things in the wild card, and the Cubs are slipping fast. They continue to lose ground against teams that are in the wild card hunt as well, as they lost that series against the Mets and now have lost the first 3 against the Giants in this series. The Giants have clinched now the season series, I believe, which does not bode well for tie-break purposes should the Cubs finally turn it around. But that honestly doesn't seem like something that is going to happen anytime soon. That's just been the way this team has been playing as of late. The base running miscues continued yesterday in a big way. Joe Girardi said on the post-game show, and I think he nailed it. There's not a time limit in baseball. You're not playing to the end of a quarter or a half or a period or anything like some of the other sports. Outs. That's what's the most valuable thing. And the Cubs gave away 3 of them on the base paths yesterday. One of them is not really the base runner's fault. Let's talk about it. Christopher Morel ripped a single down the left field line to lead off an inning. Hustled out of the box, was thinking 2 the whole way. No problem with that. Aggressive slide into second base, beat the throw. And the second baseman, Estrada, reached for the throw, caught it, and came back with so much momentum for the tag as he was falling over that when he hit Morel was on the base, but the tag had so much pressure as he was falling down to the ground that it just kind of forced Morel's hand off the base. And upon review, he was originally called safe, and it was re-ruled to an out. That was the first out on the base paths. Then Christopher Morel was caught in no man's land, picked off to end a different inning, an extremely costly one. You never know what can happen. And then in the 8th inning, the Cubs have first and second with 2 outs. He and Ian Happ represented the tying run on second base. I believe it was Michael Busch on first, or maybe not Michael Busch, but Christopher Morel. After a walk, he was on first. And with Dansby Swanson up, they run into a crucial third out in the top of the 8th inning at third base. They were trying to pull off a double steal to put the tying run at second base. And instead, the Giants sniff it out and pick off Ian Happ on his way to third before a pitch is even thrown, and that retires the side in the 8th. Then in the 9th, Dansby Swanson leads off the inning with a rip. Now, there's obviously no guarantee he would have done that in that situation, but you can't take the bat out of anybody's hands. That's the big issue. Swanson gets a single. Crow-Armstrong strikes out after a foul ball and then a foul bunt. Miles Mastrobuoni comes in to pinch hit because he's somehow your best option. That's an indictment on Jed Hoyer and how poorly this roster is constructed. He's a lefty up against a righty throwing 102. He was obviously late, lazy pop up to left. Then the Giants gifted us 90 feet as their closer tried to pick off Dansby Swanson, throwing into right field. He went into second. Now runner in scoring position, that tying run with 2 outs for Nico Horner, and he hit a ball really hard, but as has been the case with most of the Cubs' hard hit balls lately, right at a defender. And the shortstop made a nice play on it, threw it over the diamond, and Nico was retired. The Cubs lose yet another 1-run game. They are now 14-19 in 1-run games, 33 1-run games this season. That obviously leads baseball. And you guessed it, the 19 losses in 1-run games obviously leads baseball as well. But I did a little bit of a deeper dive into this. The Cubs have officially reached the halfway point, meaning they've played 81 games this season. The record, 7 games below 500 at this point. But 40% of the games played have been 1-run games. And of the Cubs' losses, all 43 of them, 43% of those losses have been 1-run losses. What the hell did you hire Craig Counsell for? I thought he was supposed to come over here and swing those close games that David Ross couldn't win toward the end of last season. No, we're still giving him away. And it's not Counsell's fault. This roster stinks. We got players all over the place making $20 million and can't produce. And the pitching staff, starters have been amazing, and the bullpen can't get outs. It's so frustrating, and it's happening day after day after day. But I want to talk about this too. Christopher Morel was moved out of that 4 spot into the 6th hole or the 7th hole, and has kind of been finding his swing a little bit. He took 3 walks yesterday, seeing the ball better, a little bit of pressure off of him. Not upset with that. I think that was the right call. Bellinger looks absolutely lost at the plate. Hitters counts 2-1, 3-1. He's fouling balls off like he's down 0-2, just spoiling them away. Decent pitches too. He's fouling off everything. He's not driving the ball at all. Seiya Suzuki takes pitches right down the middle more than any hitter in baseball. I can guarantee it. There's not a stat for it, but every time he's up there staring at a pitch right down the middle, just like that. Then all of a sudden he's in a 2-strike hole, and he seems to have a little bit of trouble with off-speed stuff. He did homer yesterday, so I can't hammer him too hard. He hit a game-tying homer. But, man, his at-bats and Bellinger's at-bats in the 3 and 4 spot have been so bad lately. The Cubs had 1st and 2nd with nobody out, with 3, 4, 5 coming up, that being Bellinger, Suzuki, and Happ. And unfortunately, not only did they not move them over even, they did nothing. Couldn't even move them over, let alone score them. So another disappointing effort from the Cubs. The runners hitting with runners on scoring position continues again. They went 1 for 7, left 7 runners on base. Really poor effort. But when you look at this Cubs team and you look at the box score at the end of the game, you're like, oh, Bellinger, he was 1 for 4. Ian Happ had a walk and a hit. Seiya Suzuki homered. Yeah, but they don't do it when it matters. Like, that's the part that's so frustrating is you look at any of these guys, Bush, Suzuki, Swanson, Happ. Oh, yeah, they're all having pretty good Junes. Yeah, but they don't do it when it matters. With runners in scoring position, they disappear. Anybody can get a hit to lead off an inning, and then the Cubs can't do anything with it. And it's so frustrating. If you told me that, like, let's just pick a guy. I'm looking at the stats right now. Let's do Dansby Swanson. Looking at him over the last 7 games, he's hitting .292. But he's not helping the Cubs win. Ian Happ had a nice hot streak going for quite some time. He's hitting .255 over the last 15 games with 3 homers and 13 RBIs, but he's not contributing to wins. Cody Bellinger, another guy. We just talked about him. He's hitting .360 over the last 7 days, and the Cubs can't buy a win. This offense has been so anemic. They struggle to come through whenever the Cubs really need them, and that continued yesterday. Now the Cubs are a season low or high, however you want to call it, 7 games below 500, 11 games out of first place in the NL Central. It is getting uglier and uglier and uglier. We talked about this. They're 14-19 in 1-run games. It just can't keep going on this way. But unfortunately, every time I turn on the TV to watch this team, this is what you get. You get an offense that struggles to get guys in. You get a starting staff that always puts you in position to win, a bullpen that can't preserve a lead, and that's if you can even get the lead. And This team deserves better, man. This fan base, we all deserve better. It's getting repetitive. I know you guys are going to say, you said that yesterday, you said that the day before. Yeah, because this team keeps doing this shit every single day. And that's the most frustrating part. Um, I want to talk about this because Craig Counsell seems to say this every freaking day after the Cubs lose. Whether it's about the offense or the bullpen giving up the lead, he says, yeah, you're doing that. That's not going to win you a lot of games. Do something about it then. You're making $8 million a year for 5 years, $40 million for a manager to just have a lifeless attitude and talk to the media after the game and say, that's not going to win you a lot of games. Show some fire. Do something. Do something. I think we all owe David Ross a little bit of an apology because he took the blame for a lot of the offense and the team's struggles late in the season. And you hire this $40 million manager who's supposed to just swing those games in your direction. But you can't change the fact that the players are the ones on the field with the task of getting the job done. And Ross took a lot of blame for it, lost his job for it. Counsell's here with even less fire than Ross had. And he can't seem to lift the Cubs out of this skid. I hope it happens soon, and I hope the writing isn't on the wall for the rest of this Counsell tenure and these players on the roster. But boy, do they need to be better and better fast, or this season is going to slip through the fingertips and down into the sewer because it has been ugly. Cubs are in last place now, 11 games out of first place in the NL Central. And the team they're chasing is the team Craig Counsell left. They're not doing too bad without him. Make of that what you will. They're winning one-run games, and we're continually losing them. But it is a baseball season. It's a long grind, 162 games, only 81 of them down. You still have half the season left, a lot of time to go. You definitely hit the panic button. You're worried. The season isn't over yet, and you're definitely scared about the results of this season. But 81 games are a lot of games, and you can do a lot of things. It just has to change soon, and maybe that's today. Cubs play the Giants 2:45 Central. Finally, a day game out there on the West Coast. Shota Imanaga on the mound. He has been stopper for this team before. The Cubs have a superb record in his starts. I believe out of the 14 starts, the Cubs are 11-3 when Shota Imanaga pitches. He's 7-2 on the season with a 2.96 ERA. That ERA was below 2, a 1.89 before his last start, and he allowed 10 earned runs to the Mets. So he is going to be looking to rebound in a big way against fireballer Jordan Hicks, former Cardinal. I'm sure you guys remember him, went to the Blue Jays at the deadline last year, and then signed a deal with the Giants and kind of became a starter. 4-4 on the season with a 3.24 ERA. Cubs have been striking out a lot lately, and having Hicks on the mound definitely worries me a little bit. And I think I may have made a little mistake here. It's Jordan Hicks. I got a little excited because the Cubs, of course, have Jordan Hicks on their team, and I've typed his name so many times. So there we go. That's fixed. Jordan Hicks, he's 4-4 with a 3.24. Throws really hard. Used to be a Cardinal and a Blue Jay. Now he's a Giant and kind of coming into his own as a starter. Cubs need to win in a big way, and they probably have their best pitcher on the mound to do so. He seems to be one of the only pitchers the Cubs have consistently put run support behind and got wins for. Obviously, Steele, Assad, Tyone know what I'm talking about. Imanaga, hopefully he's the guy that can get the Cubs back in the win column because, boy, this has been an ugly stretch of baseball, a frustrating stretch of baseball, and honestly one that I hope ends soon. But, guys, thanks so much for always checking in with us at the Cubs Baseball channel, chopping it up on a little Cubs stuff. Jump in that comment section. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know who you'd be okay with the Cubs trading should they sell at this deadline. I'm sure some of you might say everybody. Nobody's untouchable because they're not performing. And honestly, I wouldn't hate that take. This Cubs team needs to flip a switch. I'm not sure how it's going to be done, but I'm sick of Craig Counsell lifelessly talking to the media after games saying that's not going to win us many games. Well, do something. Do something that'll win us a ball game, and do it today. Cubs versus Giants today. Mick and I are going to be on later to discuss should the Cubs buy or sell and maybe some trades the Cubs would make. But for now, like and subscribe. Throw some questions that you want us to answer on that show. And as always, thank you guys for listening to the Cubs Baseball channel. We will see you next time, hopefully after a Cubs win. And keep your fingers crossed. Maybe the hot stretch is coming soon. Go Cubs.